Hey business warriors, and 2020 has been a tough year, and with what's going on in politics right now, it's really unsure whether that second stimulus check is going to happen after all. Now maybe some of the people watching this are still furloughed from work, maybe you've gone back to work, or maybe you're working from home, but no matter what's happened, it has certainly been a tough year for many people. So in this video, we are going to give you 10 side hustles that you can do now to earn extra cash in 2020 and into 2021. So let's go. Number one, drive for Uber or Lyft. Now we'll focus mainly on Uber because it's bigger, but a lot of this will apply to Lyft as well. Now I drove for Uber in the evenings when I first started out doing YouTube. And while it wasn't an amazingly well-paid job, it was very, very convenient. The fact that you could just switch on the app and go out for a few hours and come back with 50 bucks or a bit more if you were lucky was just so convenient to me. Now I haven't driven for Uber in a few years, but I looked up their expected payouts for the NYC suburbs, which is where we are. I know it looks like full-on countryside, but it actually is still the New York City metro area. Uber predicts $1,151 payout per week for driving full-time, that's 40 hours per week, in this area. And just to clarify, Uber does pay weekly. And for driving part-time, which would be 20 hours a week, they predict $588 driving in this area. Just remember, with Uber, you're adding extra miles to your car, which causes it to depreciate in value faster. Now, many full-time drivers in New York City actually replace their car every year. I remember one guy telling me he makes $120,000 a year and he spends $20,000 of that on a new car every year. So he takes home $100,000, and then after gas and expenses, it's a bit lower, like $90,000 or $80,000, something like that. So if you're doing it full time, you have to consider that. And even if you're doing part time, consider whether it's worth it for you. But it is a great thing to be signed up for because, hey, if you have a sudden expense and you're like, where am I going to get that money from? I know, I'll just go out and blast a few hours of Uber driving and I'm going to come back with $100 and I can pay that bill. So great thing to be signed up for emergencies, for a little bit of part-time work. But if you're going to do it full-time or even a lot of part-time hours, you've got to weigh up whether it's worth it with the depreciation of your car. Next, deliver food for Postmates, DoorDash, or Uber Eats. If you don't want to wear down your car with depreciation, delivering food on a bicycle is a great alternative. Although coming into the winter now, it might be a bit cold. And it only works in urban areas where stuff is reasonably close together. You could still use a car for this. You could do it either way. Now, there are several delivery services out there, including DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats, etc. And the concept is really simple. You get a call on the app. You go to a restaurant, pick up the food, and then just deliver it to someone's house, either on a bicycle or walking or in a car. And sometimes people may order that food to interesting places too, like their office or even a park bench or somewhere like that. Next, rent out your car. So here's another one that could add a load of extra miles to your car, but it can be worth it if you suddenly need cash, or let's say you're furloughed from your job, or you're just working at home and you're not driving your car. Actually, if you're renting it out, the miles that those renters are adding to the car could just be the miles that you would be adding if you were driving it anyway. So there's a site called Turo where you can list your car for rent, and they say that people make an average of $706 a month for 12 trips. Now, how much do you get to keep of your earnings? Well, Turo isn't like Uber that just takes a flat 25% fee. They actually take a different fee depending on the level of insurance cover you opt for. You take home only 60% and give them 40% with the highest level of cover, which means all damage covered and no deductible. And you take home 85% and give them 15% with a $2,500 deductible in the case of damage. To be honest, I would take the best insurance with the 60-40 split. I don't trust anyone to drive my car. Next, rent out a room. Now, to do Airbnb, you don't actually need to own an independent property or a separate apartment. If you have a spare room in your house, you can even rent it out to strangers on Airbnb. Obviously, you would have to be comfortable with people you don't know sleeping in your house, but you can at least read the reviews of prospective guests on the website. Now, Airbnb charges a 3% fee, which is way less than Uber, and you also get $1 million worth of insurance against property damage, and it's free to list your apartment or your room on the website. Next, TASKRABBIT. So TASKRABBIT is a website where you can hire people to perform specific tasks that are in need in any given locality. For example, in New York City, you can get $15 per hour for assembling IKEA furniture, $17 per hour for waiting online for someone. Yes, that is a thing. Remember Cronuts, that kind of croissants/donuts that you had to line up for 2 hours to get? Well, a lot of those people waiting in line were actually in line for other people. For example, a boss who wants a load of cronuts for his staff meeting could just pay someone to line up, and then they go buy the cronuts and he buys them off them at the end. There are also more normal jobs like helping people moving, and that's pretty well paid at $56 per hour. Anyway, a great website to check out. It's only available in certain cities though. Next, retail arbitrage. Now this is where you buy items from one store and you sell them on at a marked up price on either eBay or Amazon. Now this is really popular with Trader Joe's products. Trader Joe's, first of all, has kind of a cult following. It's not as common as other grocery stores in the US like Walmart, etc. And on top of that, it does not sell its products on its website. You have to actually physically go to a Trader Joe's store to buy their products. So a lot of people do this online. They'll buy a case of, for example, everything but the bagel seasoning, and they'll sell it on eBay for a marked up price. And most of the people who buy it are people who live in areas where there is no physical Trader Joe's store. Another version of retail arbitrage is buying items at garage sales and selling them on for more money. Now Gary Vee has a whole series of videos about this, and you can make quite a lot of money doing it. You know, people who hold garage sales, they're holding that sale to get rid of old stuff, so they tend to sell things off for less than they're worth.
Right off the bat, we got them. We paid, hold up, Lou, hold it up. We paid $8 for this vintage Budweiser Light, which I'm feeling real good about. That's the kind of thing you put on Facebook Marketplace or on Craigslist and wait for a collector to come, or Craigslist, and go 50 to 75. I mean, that's a $50 profit right off the bat.
Apparently, kids' cuddly toys are a real moneymaker. You can pick them up for like 50 cents a piece at a garage sale and then sell them for several bucks on eBay. Look, you literally have people bidding on this $3 teddy bear. Next, collecting cans and bottles. Collecting bottles and cans and turning them in for a refund, you can make about $50 a day if you do it full time, but you wouldn't really want to do that unless you're homeless. However, you can at least collect some of your own bottles or ask your neighbor if you can have some of theirs, and you can make $3, $4, or $5 per week. Next, sell your body. What? Illegal? Sleazy? No, I'm not talking about prostitution. You have a dirty mind. Anyway, what we are talking about is selling your skin, or selling space on your skin. See, I found this one when I was researching selling body parts, and in case you're wondering, you can get $10,000 for a kidney and $1,000 for donating sperm in California. Now those aren't accessible to everyone, but the one thing that is really easy to do is selling space on your skin for tattoo advertisements. Like Caroline Smith from Salt Lake City, Utah, who set up a $10,000 buy it now listing on eBay for any company to put their logo on her forehead as a permanent tattoo. Casino website goldenpalace.com took her up on the offer. And it seemed it worked well for Golden Palace, since they eventually forked out the cash for several other people to do the same thing. Then there was the guy who got Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign logo tattooed on his face. He got $15,000 for that from a Republican donor on eBay. But it doesn't age too well. At least get a tattoo of the winning side. So how can you do this? Well, there used to be a website called leaseyourbody.com where you could actually buy and sell these tattoo advertisements, but it seems to be shut down, probably because of the kind of sketchy legal gray area it's in. But most stories I hear about people doing this, they use eBay, and it seems that the going price for a forehead is $10,000 and it goes down to $5,000 for less obvious body parts. Just one tip though, secure payment before getting your tattoo done. You don't want to be like this guy who got Google tattooed on his arm first and then asked Google to pay for it. And guess what they said? Go Google laser tattoo removal. Anyway, face tattoos are a bit stupid. You may want to get it done in a place that you can eventually cover up, like this guy, with an Air New Zealand tattoo on the back of his head. You could just grow out your hair and then you'd never know it was there. And speaking of hair, check out our next one, sell your hair. Now this one is probably mostly for the ladies, but you never know, there may be some guys who've grown their hair and they're thinking of cutting it and think, hey, I can make some money from selling it. Well, with hairsalon.com, you get it? Hair salon, hair salon. Anyway, on hairsalon.com, you can list your hair for sale. The number one rule seems to be don't cut your hair until payment has been received. It also helps if you've never dyed your hair and if you don't smoke. Hair could be worth from a couple of $100s up to $1,000 or so depending on the length, maybe more if it's a rare color or type. The hair is used for hair extensions and wigs, and a variety of companies buy from the website. It is actually a legit thing, even though it sounds kind of sketchy. I wish I'd known about this site back in 2005. Maybe I could have made a couple of $100. And lastly, make YouTube videos. Alright guys, I know this is kind of ironic because you're watching a YouTube video and I'm telling you to make YouTube videos, but making YouTube videos is a great side hustle. Just don't expect to make any money for the first year, unless you're very lucky with views and subscribers. You see, YouTube requires you to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of public watch time before you can monetize your channel. I'm still waiting for my ski channel, Generation Snow, to get monetized. But once you're monetized, it's really not that hard to make an extra $5 or even $10 a day from YouTube. $5 a day may not sound like much, but over the course of a year, that's $1,825 that you would make. That amount each year, compounding in the stock market at 8%, would end up being worth almost $100,000 after 20 years. So if your goal is to save money to invest in the stock market or in property, or even to just save up each year for that family vacation, YouTube is actually a very realistic way to do that after you get over that initial period of time when you're basically working for free. One thing to say about this though is that you do need to be someone who is interested in video in the first place, since there is a certain standard, all right? No one's gonna wanna see kind of shaky cell phone video about your pet iguana, but if you can reach a reasonably high standard with nice lighting, HD quality, and you're talking about something that people are actually interested in. For example, I have a channel talking about credit cards, or you could review movies or make jokes about TV shows and things that people are actually searching for online. As long as it's reasonable quality, you will eventually get views and income. All right, guys, that's 10 side hustles you can do to earn extra cash now. And if you do want to earn a little extra money, really for not doing anything at all, why not check out the investing app Webull? Right now, they're offering 4 free stocks for signing up and depositing $100 in your account. 2 of those will be valued at between $800 and $1,600. Luck of the draw, what you get. So you're guaranteed to get some free money just for opening up an account. Link below if you're interested. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.